We're good? Okay, hello everybody. We are here and welcome and thank you for coming. I am Sarah Baptist, urban landscape artist. And we are live again. This is the second part of my open studio weekend. Oh my goodness, we're here. So this is my studio. Come into my studio. Come in. Excuse me, I have an itchy nose. So we'll give it a few minutes. Today's been a great day, and I hope some of you watched the part 1 video, which was my living room. Talked about all the art in there. Tomorrow morning we're going to be starting where we left off, and I have 2 more rooms of art to talk about and show you and share with you. So put that on your radar for tomorrow morning at 10:30. And whatever of these sessions you missed, they will be posted later so you can enjoy them later, just so you know that. Tonight I am going to show you my plein air kit. So when I started painting, before I get into that, all the paintings I'm showing you today and that are in this open studio are on my website, which is sarahbaptistart.com. There's a menu, I always forget what that's called. Little menu button up there that says open studio. So everything is on that page and available for purchase. And this weekend, just this weekend, through tomorrow at midnight, it's free shipping. So go take a look at that. That is a way that even though you're seeing the art through when I do the tour, for you to get a better look at it, that's the way to do it. So sarahbaptistart.com, open studio. And if you want access to behind the scenes and first notice of things like this that happen, best way to get that is to join my email list. And there's a link on there to do that as well. So, again, I hope people are joining and welcome. This is my studio. Tonight we're going to talk about plein air. When I started painting 5 years ago, plein air is what I did exclusively, and I did that for 3 years, all the time. So that's what I got to be known for. It's what I love to do. I went to, one of the things you do when you do plein air, or what I did, is I did plein air events. So a number of communities and art associations, as a fundraiser, they invite artists to come, anywhere from 30 to 70, depending on the size of their event. They invite them to come to their community and paint.
I don't see you live on when I'm as a viewer.
We have viewers watching.
Okay.
According to this.
Okay.
Well, we had a technical glitch there. Okay, so so they invite people to come. They invite artists to come and paint in their community, and then for anywhere from 2 to 3 days, and then they'll have a sale afterwards, and that's a fundraiser for that arts organization. So I did a number of those, especially in the first 3 years when I started out, and I learned so much. I met a lot of fantastic artists, and the community members really get behind those sorts of events. It was a great way to travel, see new places, and it was just a fantastic learning experience. I also learned a lot about how to put a very simple plein air kit together. what you do need and what you don't need. So, but that was really my stomping ground for learning. And so I'm going to just show you what I take out when I paint. So that's what we're here. So the first thing you need is an easel. A lot of people have very fancy easel. One of my a lot of people tell me, oh, I want to learn I want to go out and plein air paint. But a lot of people, I think, are scared or intimidated to do that. My whole thing is it can be very simple and easy, and it does not need to be expensive. There are a lot of expensive easels and equipment out there, fancy stuff, and you can go that way. Someday maybe I'll have one of those $400 easels. But this is an aluminum easel. I think this cost me $80. It usually comes in has a canvas bag. This is a Heritage brand. So the first thing I do is I set that up. I'm going to just go sideways. I think you're going to be able to see. That weighs, I think, about 2 or 3 pounds, tops. Okay, next thing I do. I usually work pretty small. I can put my panel on there. I have this handy dandy, this is something I'll show you. This is kind of an extra accessory that I made. For very small panels, you can see this small panel, it's kind of hard to fit on here. So I made, this is just a piece of plywood. Straight up here, angle here, and this little wedge. I can put this small panel on here, wedge this guy on here, and then then I use this. So it makes it much easier to put small panels on the easel and work on them. So when I do those 6" by 6" panels, or this is an 8" by 8" panel, it just makes it much easier to get on the easel. Okay, so what's next? Next, another piece of plywood. Cheap and easy stuff. Piece of plywood with this notch cut out. I think the notch depends on the size of your aluminum, and all it does is it's all friction. Fits right on there. Wow, so easy, right? Okay, everything else fit. Here's my backpack. Everything else fits in this backpack. And you know what? When I bought this backpack, I didn't buy it for this. I didn't intend for it to be. This is just something I had around, and it just happens to work beautifully for this. This is a solvent kit, or this has solvent in it. Any plein air painter, you know what this is. I use Turpenoid, which is an odorless version of turpentine. It's a synthetic base. You can buy that at Michael's or anywhere. So I hang that here. I usually take the lid off. I have this towel wrapped around it. Every now and then it will leak just a little bit. So I always have this towel just in case. And then, let's see. I use disposable palette paper just because it's easy to clean up. And I also use blue tape and just tape it down. The slightest bit of wind, this stuff will start blowing around all over the place. So I just put those extra pieces of tape on before I go out. Put the palette paper down. And this, I wish I had that chair with me whenever I went out, because it's a lot easier to have that than usually this stuff is on the ground. I'll just put this here now so you guys can see. This is just a box that used to, that somebody got cheese spreads in at Christmas time. And I just went down in the basement when I had to go out. And then I put these dividers in. I hot melt glued them in. And so I have a place for brushes. And I put my white and brown, ultramarine blue and browns, my warm colors, and my cool colors. Although there's orange, so he should be over here. But it's that simple. So this is actually quite a bit of paint. I don't always carry that much paint, but. And then I just put the rubber bands around to keep it closed, just because it does. The more I use it, it doesn't always close this nicely. I have a little up arrow, so I know that the brushes are in this orientation, so that the brushes aren't upside down when I'm carrying them in the case. But usually I'll just throw this on the ground here, open, so that I can have access. I can put more paint out if I want to. And I'll put my paint on the palette. And what else? So I can get started right at that point. There are a few other goodies in here that I advise people. I do have some more blue tape in case I need it for anything. I always have sunscreen. I have some I have rags in case anything spills, or sometimes I'll put a rag here so I can dab my brushes off. I will also often put a rag in my pocket because I tend to dab the brush on me. And notice my outfit. This is intentional. This is kind of one of my plein air uniforms, because I kind of do that and I get paint on me. And my wife and I decided that when I get paint on this, you can't really tell. So, it's bright, it's colorful, I look kind of cool, and, the paint blends right in. So, that's why I have that on tonight. The other thing I advise putting in a plein air kit is one of those ice packs that you break up, that you get. I think you get them for $5. You can get 2 of them at Walgreens or CVS, and you stick them in your paint kit in case you get a bee sting or somebody gets hurt. I was at an event where somebody got hurt, and we were out. We were only about 5 minutes from a gas station or something, but somebody busted their lip open, or they busted and nobody had anything. It was really awful because the people that were hosting the event should have had something. And even just going to that gas station and getting something and bringing it back, that's 20 minutes, somebody getting in a car. And I really couldn't believe that nobody had a first aid kit of any sort in their car, and including me. So now, whenever I go out, I try to have one of those in the kit. So that's something I preach. But I always try to have, I have insect repellent in my car, and I have paper towels in the car. I have a lot of I have a jacket, like a fuzzy in the car, and gloves in the car, so that if a wind kicks up, it's kind of surprising. You think you judge the weather when you're leaving the house, but depending on where you go, and even if it's 10 miles down the road, you're in the shade, all of a sudden you get really cold, and it's kind of nice to have an extra layer. So those are all, I think that's everything I know. That's everything I know about plein air, yes. So, but that's how I go out. And then it packs up into this backpack and throw it. Oh, the only other thing, I do have this I keep this in the back of my car. They're a little pricey. They cost about $30, I think. I got mine at Michael's. It's a huge, flat Tupperware. A lot of people keep palettes in it when they're doing watercolors and stuff, but I just keep it in the car, and if I've got a lot of paint on this palette and I don't want to just throw it away, or I know I'm going to be painting tomorrow because I do paint in oils, I'll throw this in here, put this on top, and then I can keep it and use that the next day.
Do you have a bungee cord or something to hold your easel in place if it's very windy?
Oh, yes. That's a good reminder. So, wind is evil. Evil, evil, evil. Wind is the worst thing, I think, for a plein air painter. Worse than cold, and I don't like cold. So, I've come up with this system. I'll show you my trick. In this little pocket, I have a bungee cord. And so what I do, if there's even like a 5-mile-an-hour wind, I can't tell you how many times I have seen people painting, and even with something like this, a breeze will come over and it will flatten the easel. And it ruins painting. You have solvent like this in an open container, it's all over the sidewalk, and people don't carry extra. I actually do carry extra solvent in my car. I've filled up people's containers for them, but it really does not take much. If you have, an 11 by 14 canvas or panel on there, the wind grabs it, and it's surprising. So what I do, bungee cord, and I wrap it around here twice. And this is probably a couple pounds. And you'll see I have a pocket here. I can put my water bottle in there, which will add another pound and a half. And I'm going to walk around here, Mitchell. And there are 2 latches back here. I attach this here and here. And just that weight has saved me from my easel tipping. This backpack will swing like crazy, but the easel will not tip over. So if you're going to go out and do any amount of plein air painting, that's just something to think about. A bungee cord and some duct tape are not bad things to have around. I did have an easel, one of these latches, break on me one time, and just having some duct tape, gaff tape handy, masking tape, that's handy. But yeah, just that couple pounds, that's all it took. So I use that on a regular basis. So, are there any questions? Anybody got any questions? I'm here to wealth of information. So, the other thing a lot of you probably noticed, maybe you know, is one, I paint on panel. This is, you used to call this masonite, but that's not politically correct anymore because masonite really, it sold its name, something else. It's called hardboard now. I make all my own panels, so I gesso them and then I apply this color on. So why do you use that color, Sarah? Well, when I first started painting, I tried a number of colors. And basically, this is the color that worked best under all circumstances. I tried blues, I tried yellow, I tried browns, and those colors work with certain things, but they didn't work with other colors. This color, believe it or not, worked with everything. And if you notice, when you look at my plein airs, you'll see little tiny specks of this popping through because I don't paint every molecule of the surface. And I get comments about that all the time, that people kind of love that. It gives the painting a certain amount of energy and sparkle. People call it sparkle, people call it a liveliness, people call it an energy, but it really adds something to the painting, I think. And even in some of my skies, I can choose whether or not, like in the skies, I make it completely opaque or have some of this kind of undertoning coming through. That depends on how opaque, or if I go over the painting the second time later. I can paint the sky in early, paint the rest of the painting, and if I want to make parts more opaque, I can go back in. And so that's just kind of one of my signatures that I paint on this color. So a lot of people are very shocked by this. Shocked. So that is pretty straightforward, and I encourage people who want to give plein air a try. I mean, one very simple way to do it is just go out and draw. I mean, you don't always have to take paints with you, just to get comfortable being out someplace, and go out to the mall. Can you do that now? I don't know. Go to the park and take a little sketch pad and sketch. That's a very simple way to start. There are meetup groups, or if you know somebody else who paints, it's always easier to go with a buddy if you know somebody else who does it. That is
Do people come up and talk to you when you're painting?
do people come up and talk to me when I'm painting? Yes, they do. And I think that used to kind of scare me a little bit when I first started painting. I remember being out painting sometimes and people coming towards me and thinking, no, don't talk to me. But really, I don't mind at all. Now I don't mind at all. I'm very used to it. And it's really a wonderful way to meet people and to expose them to art and what you're doing. And they're just curious and want to know, and it's a wonderful teaching tool. I've met some really great people. I hear some really great stories. So, it's enlightening for me as well. So I've come to enjoy that part, and I don't dread it anymore. And people will come up and stand there and almost be scared to say something, and I kind of welcome them. I'm saying, you can look, it's fine. I figure I'm out there in the public. I've put myself in that public situation. So, and I tell them that. They're like, can I look? And I'm like, I'm out here in the middle of the public. Yes, you can come look. And I've never had anybody say anything mean or derogatory. So, they usually applaud me for going out and trying that. So, and a lot of people are artists or have art background, and I encourage them to, I'm always like, keep drawing. So anyway, if you've tuned in late, I am Sarah Baptist, urban landscape artist, and this is my open studio. It's my 5th open studio this year, and I'm doing some virtual sessions. Tonight I am talking about my plein air setup. I did a virtual tour this morning of my home that you can watch on replay, and I'm going to be doing another one of those. We're going to pick up where we left off this morning. I'm going to be talking about some other paintings in my home tomorrow morning at 10:30. I hope you'll think about joining me then. And then tomorrow night we'll be back here at 7 o'clock. And I will talk to you about we'll be back in here. I'll talk to you about painting in the studio and some work I'm doing now. So that's what tomorrow is going to be about. And this past week, I actually did go out and do some plein air painting. And if you follow me on Facebook at all, I promised to show you what the results of those were. So one, if you didn't see those, you can go back on the posts and see those. They're, I think, 2 or 3 minute little videos. I'm on the street. I just show you where the painting is at that point. It's kind of blocked in. It's in progress. So if you're interested in plein air painting or what my process is, you can go back and look at those. And I have those paintings and how they ended up right here. So the little one was the first one I did. It doesn't really matter what order, but this is just I really love these 3 little trees in a row and the little parking posts that they have. And of course, you know, urban landscape, the leaning posts, the light posts, the inner, what do you call those?
Street lights.
Street lights. Thank you, Mitchell. I can't talk. Classic though. And it was funny, the couple who were in this car, I was painting away, and they were in a restaurant and they came out and they stood there for the longest time, and they must have been watching. I guess they were watching me. I just thought they were hanging out. They finally, the husband came over and he's like, I can't take it anymore. I have to know. I have to see what you're doing. So he came over and checked out the painting. I was only about halfway done at that point. But there's a case of somebody coming and chatting with me. So that was kind of fun. But and then there's this guy. This guy is the largest plein air painting I have ever done. I think I wish I had another half hour, 45 minutes on it. My parking meter was up, and it was time for me to get on my way. I had a lot of other things to do that day. But it was really kind of interesting to work on something this size. I mean, this size, I kind of know what I'm doing. And actually my go-to size has been 10 inches by 10 inches, starting to broaden out and do more 12 by 12s. The largest size I've done up to this point was 11 by 14. This is 12 by 24. So that's like 2 of my, that's big. It's a lot of territory to cover. And I mean, I like the design. I like the panoramic. That's just a new format for me, which is, you know, it's fun to explore different formats. It's a way for me to make it a little fresh. And I think that's good for any artist to try some different things. This is a corner in Wilmington. It could be a corner anywhere.
With your car in the one, do you ever have an issue sometimes doing urban landscaping where the scene changes while you're painting it? Just like cars leaving or something like that?
Yes, I do have that. And that used to be a real issue when I started. I would set up, and a car or a truck would literally come and park right in front of where I was. I would get, very early on, I got very frustrated with that. But I learned, don't set up where somebody can park right in front of you. Or, you know, those are some of the lessons you learn. And the other thing is, sometimes, I had that happen, I think a month ago, where I was out and a delivery truck came, and you just kind of breathe and go, okay, that's a delivery truck. They are going to be there for 15, 20 minutes tops. So I can paint over here, and I can paint over here. You can paint around it for a certain period of time too. So you kind of do have to just breathe and not freak out and realize they will go away. But I actually have a painting in the other room that I will talk about tomorrow morning where that did happen, and the mail truck was not supposed to be in the painting, and the whole painting is now called Mail Truck because the mail truck did not go away. I mean, the mail truck pulls up and you go, it's going to be there for 10 or 15 minutes, and then nope, it did not move. So the painting So that is something with plein air, is you have to be somewhat flexible. So either you move or the painting changes format a little bit. That's, I guess, part of the fun. But it is a necessary, you have to be flexible. So. Good questions. Thank you for your questions. Appreciate that. So, anybody else have any questions? So, no questions?
From me, do you ever, do you have like a contingency plan for when the weather goes south really fast and you weren't expecting it? Do you just pack it up and run? Do you whip out an umbrella?
Yeah, usually, I'm trying to think if I've really ever had that happen. I usually just pack it up. I mean, it's usually not a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're out there, it's iffy, if you're out there, I mean, it's not like it's going to be 70 degrees and sunny and then all of a sudden start raining. I have been out there where it's been borderline and I've been painting. Now, with oil paint, you can paint when it's through the rain to a certain degree. I mean, I didn't know you could do that at first, but you can for a little while. If it's a very light rain, you can paint through that. And I have done that, but it gets to be a point where it's so sticky and at some point you just have to go, I've had enough. I luckily do have a hatchback on my car. I have painted under that. If it's iffy, I will try to set up under my hatchback, or you try to set up under a tree where, if it's going to start to rain, you have an extra, 20, 30 minutes before it's going to really get through.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a little warning. And you can go, okay, it's starting to rain. I have 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I need to paint faster. So, and other than that, you just kind of go, okay, I've had it.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had that happen too often. But I also call myself the wimpiest plein air painter in the world. I really, if it's cold, if it's dank, I just don't enjoy it. So why push it?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not going to enjoy it, I'm not going to go out. So if it's rainy, some people will go out when it's 30 degrees and God bless them. I'm not going to do it. I mean, I tried going out with those foot warmers. They have the foot warmers and hand warmers. And I do have those, but I put them on when it's like 55 because I'm cold. But, I like it when it's about 60 and above. So, and rain and wind, not my fave. So, anyway, again, sarahbaptistart.com, open studio. There's a whole page at the web of paintings that I am showing. I showed this morning. I will be showing more tomorrow morning. Hope you will join me at 10:30. Let's see. Okay, thank you. We are at the 30-minute mark, so I think that's probably a good time to wrap it up. I don't want to keep you from your families and your evening television watching. So, tomorrow 10:30, please join me. And these are going to be posted later, so you can enjoy them later. And they will be on my YouTube channel in a day or two. So with the plein air setup, if you have any questions, you can always contact me. Also, please join my email list on my website, sarahbaptistart.com. And I really appreciate your time. I appreciate your joining me and watching these videos. And enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you very much.